Good morning, everyone. Bill and Deb here with I Ride Tiny House Adventures. How's everybody doing today? Say good morning, dear.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's a beautiful morning here. It's Saturday morning, and we're sitting on, we're sitting at Beaver Creek Campground, which is on Bull Shoals Lake, which is roughly 30 minutes, I'd say 30 minutes east of Branson. And it's kind of back, you take what I consider back roads in some cases,
twiny hilly roads.
it's a twisty road to get back in here, but it's a really neat campground. We wish we could show you a lot of the amenities about the campground, but unfortunately, and you're probably going to see some photos and some other video clips that I shot pop up here, but the lake is so high that out of 36 sites they only have 6 sites left. Is that right?
I believe that's what he said.
Yeah, 36 sites, and they only have 6 sites left.
And we happened to get one of them.
We were fortunate because we had no idea. So we happen to be one of 6 that's kind of up on a hill. And we visited with the camp host a little bit the second day we were here. Yeah, I think it was second day. And he said that it's very possible that we would be able to fish right out our back door before we leave. I don't think it's going to get that high. It seems to have slowed down a little bit, but it's still, we can see landmarks that make it look like it's raised about 6 inches a day. A couple of days it raised a foot or so.
Right.
But I think it's starting to slow down now. So what we thought we would talk about right quick, and we'll make this as brief as possible, why we choose Corps of Engineer campgrounds. And this is a Corps of Engineer campground. And by the way, on Bull Shoals Lake, do you remember how many is on Bull Shoals Lake according to the book? And we'll talk about the book here in a second.
My book.
Yeah, this book is a very helpful guide, and it was we were introduced to this book by some fellow full-timers that we met at a campground a few weeks ago. So how many
has 4 campgrounds according to the book.
Okay.
3 of them have the electric and or water that we want. Some of them don't have water hookups at the site. Ours does, even though it says in the book that it doesn't.
Right.
So that's kind of weird.
We had to run 75 foot of hose, but we do have a water hookup, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's kind of spoiled us again.
Yeah. And the neat thing about being where we are too, we're maybe a block from the dump station too, to dump our auxiliary tanks. So there are some, and there were a few that we found on the reservations.gov website for Bull Shoals Lake that didn't make it in the book.
Right.
And but there's no sense in talking about it. The one that we found for sure, which isn't very far from where we are right now, is totally flooded out completely. You can't even see any of the rooftops on the canopies over the picnic tables. It's that bad. But the reason why we choose Corps of Engineer campgrounds, and there are several reasons. First and foremost, of course, is price.
Price is very important to us.
Right, price is very important to us. Now, we do have the senior pass, because I know Deb doesn't look like it, but we both qualify for the senior pass, but that's as far as I'm going to go with that.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. If I had hair, I might not look like I qualify either. Okay, fine. Anyway, so for instance, this campground here, the regular price for the campsites here are $21 a night, which in itself is a bargain. And we'll tell you why we think it's a bargain here in just a little bit. But because we have the senior pass, we get it for half price. So it's $10.50 a night. $10.50 a night for us.
And for that I get a water hookup, which was unexpected.
Was a bonus in this case.
And 30 amp electric. We get large areas, like we are quite a ways down from our trailer, and we're still not in anyone else's camping space. And so many of the RV parks, they just jam them right up next to each other, where you can hear the people talking in the next, camper.
Yeah.
We don't, people are outside enjoying themselves. We could get to be outside enjoying ourselves, and we don't have to worry about being too close, but close enough that if we decide to be if we want to go over and introduce ourselves, we can do that, or they can come over and introduce
Exactly.
themselves.
And we have met so many, and we've talked about this before, we have met so many nice people. In fact, one couple that we met one time, she strongly suggested that you start keeping a journal.
Right,
And,
which I have not done yet.
Yeah, and you know, of people that we meet. And I wish we had that note that these folks left us at the last campground we were at.
It's
And
in the trailer.
yeah, it brought tears to our eyes. We met these folks one evening. They were walking by, and they wanted to know if they could see the trailer, and we said sure. So they came in and looked around the trailer and oohed and awed for a little bit. And they were tent campers. They were up from Texas, tent camping. And then we just all of a sudden just we grabbed extra chairs, sat around, and just started visiting. And within 15 minutes, we were great friends. And they left us a note. We had to run into town the next day, and they were leaving that day. And when we got back, we found this note hanging on our trailer door. And it said, when you come, start heading south, we're welcome to stay on their driveway. And they live down in South Central Texas. And it was just, and then they gave us all the information how to contact them and all that.
Very
and
sweet.
it was just so sweet.
So
and
sweet.
we hope you're watching this, folks. We hope those folks we met are watching this. But anyway, it was, but we have experiences like that all the time at these campgrounds. And here again, you're not jammed in next to each other. The prices are great, even if you don't have the senior pass. I mean, $22 a night. We've seen some that are $24 a night, depending on the amenities. Almost all of them, you're going to have at least electricity. Some of them, many of them will have 50 amp as well as 30 amp for those of you that have the 50 amp service on your RV. And all those things are important to us. Now, the one drawback, as far as Corps of Engineer campgrounds are concerned, is there's a multitude of them in the eastern half of the country. There's not so many out west, although when we got the book,
Yes, we found some.
we found some. Found some up in Montana, is that right?
Yes.
The state of Washington.
Yes.
We found some in Kansas, which we didn't expect.
No, but there's several in Kansas.
Yeah.
And
So-
what this book does, let me show you just a minute. If you pull up a state, and here's the state of Pennsylvania,
Hope they can see that. Yeah, the state of Pennsylvania.
it gives you all the campgrounds, and then it goes in, then you go into the book, and it will actually tell you about each lake.
Right.
And under each lake is broke up the campgrounds that with the amenities that they have in that. Now, you can always double check all that by going to the government, what is the name of that website? Yeah, now you forgot.
Yeah.
We'll post that.
Recreation.gov.
Yes, there you go.
Recreation.gov.
To
Yeah.
just to double check and
Right.
to make your reservations.
Right. And it's so simple. So, you know, if you're traveling and you wanna find an inexpensive yet beautiful place to stay,
Safe place.
yeah, a safe place, we feel very secure. We've never felt insecure so
No.
far since March 1st. We have never felt insecure at any of the campgrounds we've stayed at.
What
Any of them.
happens is, since they're out, you know, from the cities, the rangers come by once or twice a day,
Yeah.
usually twice. The local sheriff's department comes through the park 2 to 3 times a day.
Yeah, we saw the sheriff here 3 times
And
yesterday.
then, of course, the park attendant is watching and knows the people that are staying. And
Right.
if you're not staying, he stops them and asks questions. And
Yeah.
and so you just feel protected.
Yeah, we feel very, very secure. I sleep better now than I ever did in our house. Truly, I do, because I don't worry about anything. And the thing about it is too, you know, a lot of folks ask us in comments, you know, are you ever going to go out west? Are you going to go to the RTR? Are you going to do this and do that? And quite honestly, folks, we didn't set up our trailer for boondocking, especially for extended periods of time. But here on the other hand, when you consider that we can get all the amenities that we're talking about for $10.50 a night and still have basically all the conveniences we have at home, why would we want to consider doing something like that? We do want to go out west, and I can very easily, with just a few modifications, set up the trailer so we can boondock, not for 2 weeks at a time, but I can set it up where we can do those sorts of things, you know, later down the line. And, you know, we'll probably be looking into that. But for now, there is so much to see in the eastern half of the country. And that's what we plan to do. That's
Right.
what we plan to do. And you can't beat it when you're averaging $10 to $11 a night, our cost, because of our senior pass. Now, keep in mind, too, the senior pass, and I believe you qualify for the senior pass once you're 62 and above.
I
think
so.
that's where the age stops. Deb just barely made it, right?
Right.
Anyway, but that also applies to national parks, national forests, and things like that. Now, Florida itself has only like 2 or 3 or 4 tops Corps of Engineer campgrounds. 3 of them we know of are on Lake Okeechobee. And then they have one very close to Pensacola Beach called Fort Pickens. And the problem with Fort Pickens is, and it says very plainly when you go to that site, that you may be asked to leave in the middle of the night if the water starts to rise, because it's just a little bit above sea level, you know, there, and things can change real quick. So we're not sure if we're going to hit Fort Pickens or not.
Probably
No.
will be a day trip.
Right. But there is a national, there's the Apalachicola National Forest, which they have a nice campground there at the Apalachicola National Forest. There's the Ocala National Forest. And then we looked at it and we figured out how we could travel from one campground to the next, and utilizing one of the core campgrounds on Lake Okeechobee, and still end up going clear to the tip of Florida, because there's also the Everglades National Forest down at the tip of Florida. And the money we save in staying at places like this allows us to splurge a little bit and stay at some of the Florida state parks, which I believe one of our first destinations when we get to Florida will be St. George Island, which is a state park. The campground there is absolutely beautiful. We're hoping by after the first of the year they have it all up and running good, because the hurricane did a number on it. But it's a gorgeous campground. I think they have over 60 sites there, and I think the price there was like $24 a night. We looked it up again last night. So anyway, you know, this is the reason why we choose to do the way we're doing. And for us, at least for now, it's working out really, really well. Will we do something different come next spring? Maybe. Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? But for now, this is what we're doing, and this is why we like Corps of Engineer parks. I will mention one more thing before we go. Actually, 2 more things real quickly. The marina, which you'll see in a pop-up here in just a little bit. The marina, usually they can walk to the marina, because the water is so high here. The only way to reach the marina right now is by boat, because the water is so high. I think we looked it up and it said that we were 28 feet above what they consider full pool.
Yes.
Full pool here at Bull Shoals Lake.
Right.
But surely these waters will begin to recede. And we ordered our air conditioner yesterday.
We haven't been too bad.
We haven't been too bad. During the day, it gets a little warm in the trailer. We have fans going and everything, and we Delilah has her favorite spot under the bed where it's nice and cool. But then we'll coax her out several times during the day and bring her out with us so she can set out in the shade with us. But at night, we actually get cold.
Right.
Yeah, around 2 o'clock in the morning, we actually get cold. But that's not going to last forever. So we did break down and go ahead and order the air conditioner yesterday. We'll be back to the Beaver Lake area beginning next week, and it will show up about the same time. So then I've got to figure out how to get it installed right quick. Right. And believe it or not, dear, July 3rd, just around the corner.
Out. I guess the air conditioner is your anniversary present. Happy anniversary.
Okay, that's what you do when you're coming up on 48 years. That's what you do for an anniversary present.
My air conditioner.
And weather permitting, I will be going live and playing some music on July 3rd, and we'll probably have one more video between now and then, and announce when you know, what time for sure and everything. But right now I'm thinking I'll start around 7 o'clock is what I'm thinking I'll start. I mean, you know, and just be up for about 30 minutes or so and play a few songs. Some of the songs that I learned
7 Central?
7 Central, yeah.
In the evening?
In the evening.
Okay.
7 Central PM. But we're going to be, I'll be doing several songs that I thought would earn me points, you know, with her. And I don't know, did it or did it? Okay, fine. I think it's time we said goodbye, right?
Probably.
But just keep in mind, folks, we're not camping.
We're living.
Absolutely. This is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventure saying we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye now.